Security matters, where suspected bandits have kidnapped former NYSC Director General Major General Mahrazu Tsiga alongside several residents of Tsiga village in Katsina State. Now, eyewitnesses say the attackers, armed with sophisticated weapons, stormed Tsiga's residence on Wednesday night. This attack lasted only a few minutes, leaving 2 residents wounded, while one of the bandits was mistakenly shot by his gang members. Now, authorities have yet to issue a statement on the abduction. Katsina remains a hotspot for banditry, with armed groups raiding villages and kidnapping residents. Now, in 2023, Governor Diko Rada launched a vigilante corps to assist security forces in tackling this crisis. Now, to give us an update on this story, we're joined by Jamil Mabai, a conflict and crisis reporter. He joins us live from Katsina State. Jamil Mabai, thank you so much for joining us. Could you give us an overview of the current security situation in Katsina State, especially in the frontline areas?
Thank you very much. Okay, it's better to have a bit of context on the security situation in Katsina State. Where the attack happened in Tsiga, formally the place is not part of the frontline areas. And when you talk of the frontline areas, you talk of Dandumi, Faskari, Dus Amak, Ankara, and Jibia that borders Zamfara and Niger Republic. Those were the flashpoint or frontline areas, and a lot of families have been displaced. So what happened in those areas is displaced families moved towards the lesser areas where there is minimal activities of bandits. So those are Bakuri, where the community of Tsiga, where the Brigadier General was abducted, and now we have places like Tsiga, Bakuri, Punto local government, as close to Kurfi local government, which is just less than 30 kilometers away from the state capital. And but what happened over the years is after the coming of this new administration of the current governor, who created the Community Watch Corps, and they were sent back to these frontline areas. Why? What effort or what was the impact? The impact was these were people that lived within the area, so they know the terrain better than any other person. And if you've been following the history of banditry in the northwest of Nigeria, you know it's more like a communal clash. So those bandits, purported to be the bandits, were once living peacefully with the people. So these members of the Community Watch Corps know these bandits better than any other security outfit that you can deploy. So imagine having the community shield, the police, and the army, coordinating the attacks. The community shield, they know the terrain, they know their families, they know their friends, they know their handouts. What was lacking was the infrastructure to help or assist in rendering first aid or emergency defense mechanism. So that was what happened. So after that, these bandits now began to re-strategize and move towards areas that were relatively safe, like Bakuri local government, like Kurfi local government, like Funtua. Where this attack happened in the early hours of Thursday was in Tsiga, and Tsiga is a community under Bakuri local government. And in the history of the community, this attack was the second attack carried on the community. And the brigadier happens to come from that village. Even though his family are not staying in Tsiga, but he contributes in the fight against insecurity in that region. How? Probably by training local vigilante groups and providing them with defensive mechanism, like a first aid defensive mechanism that will help them to curtail any attack before army or police come to their rescue. So this is just a context on the entire crisis of this banditry, especially in these frontline areas. But now we're no more talking about frontline areas. We're talking about bandits now trying to explore new areas. So that is what we're seeing.
Right. So also, the abduction of a retired brigadier general from his residence, this requires a lot of planning and, of course, a possibility of an inside job. What are your thoughts on that?
Okay, yes. Okay, going back to what I said, Brigadier Tsiga is somebody that has connection with the grassroots. I could remember even after he left the army, he contested for election. Even at a time when he couldn't, when he lost the election, he has been participating actively in the grassroots politics, and he has his network in those areas. And again, the issue of banditry, he has played tremendous role in securing Tsiga community. My home state, Mabai, is in Kankara local government. And Mabai has a very functional and vibrant vigilante community that any other community that borders Mabai has been attacked, except Mabai. So this was similar to what Tsiga is doing the Brigadier General is doing in Tsiga. And I spoke to relatives of Tsiga, and they told me that these bandits, they came with motorcycles. They parked the motorcycles at a far distance and they trek. And they came directly to his house. And they were, according to the numbers, even though I did not verify the numbers, and sometimes when people are panicked, they call numbers anyhow. But he says there were over 100 people that stormed his house. But one thing that was true, when they came directly, they went directly to his residence and cycled the residence. And they said they were not there to shoot anybody. They were not there to create any harm. They just want to abduct him and leave. So his security personnel at the gate, they had to run for their lives. They couldn't open the gate, but they ran away to neighboring houses. While the general, when he realized that these people have entered his residence and he knows that he has people inside his house, so he came out and they just took him away by foot. Then on their way, they carried some other community members, like 6 or 7 people, I guess. So, for something like this to happen, definitely there must be an intensive, planning went into the entire operation, from how they will go, from when will the general visit Tsiga. Only somebody within the community can provide that information, because a brigadier general whose environment is volatile in terms of insecurity, whenever he's going there, he must have some security protocols he adopts. And for these hooligans to come and invade his house, they must have not just planning, there are a lot of informants probably feeding them with this information. And that is where the next battle is. And that is why the community watch corps are playing a very vital role and changing the dynamism of the success in terms of fighting this banditry.
All right, Jamil Mabai, thank you so much. Conflict and Crisis Reporter, thank you so much for discussing this with us. We appreciate your time with us on the news.
Thank you very much.
Absolute pleasure. Now, the decomposing body of Anambra State Lawmaker, Honorable Justice Azuka, has been discovered at the second Niger Bridge. Azuka, who represented Onitsha 1 North constituency, was kidnapped by gunmen on December 24th, 2024, while returning home. Police spokesperson SP Tochukwu Ikenga confirmed the discovery, saying that security operatives are at the scene. Azuka's abduction and murder add to the growing security concerns in Anambra State, where criminal gangs have been active in recent months. Authorities are yet to comment on possible suspects or motives behind the killing. Now, to tell us more on this, we're joined by our correspondent, Chinwe Ugele, who joins us live from Abia State. Chinwe, how does this incident highlight the growing security challenges that Anambra State is facing right now and the broader southeast region of Nigeria?
Well, this is just one death too many. A lot of people, stakeholders, residents and indigenes of Anambra State have cried out about the insecurity in the state over time. And I remember that some 2 weeks back, I interviewed one House of Assembly member, Henry Ibacho, that represents Oka South 1 in the State House of Assembly. He complained so bitterly about the loss of or missing of their member, this very man who is today declared dead. So it's quite unfortunate that the security agencies were only able to find the man or discover him as a corpse. And that goes to say that it is real, the issue of insecurity in the state and also parts of the Southeast.
Right. Chiwe, could you help us confirm your exact location as we speak?
Okay, I'm at the Anambra State Police Headquarters, where the outgoing CP Obono Etam is holding a stakeholders meeting concerning the vehicle theft, insurance licensing, he was talking about it. So, but I believe that before the end of this program, somehow he will have to comment on the issue at hand today, what happened today. Unfortunately, I've not been able to speak with the Speaker of the State House of Assembly. I've made attempts, and also some other members, but then after here, we'll be heading to that place to know how they receive the news and what it portends for the state and, of course, the House of Assembly itself.
Also, what measures would you say that the state is taking currently, and the government as well as security agencies, to address these challenges?
I haven't spoken with any one of them since morning when this news broke out, but then they would tell you that they already set up mechanisms in motion to check criminality in the state, such as the relaunch of the local vigilante group and then the incentives that they are providing to the other security outfits like the police, the NSCDC, and all of that. But then I think what the people need this time around is not this kind of situation or stories, because yesterday they had their hopes high that insecurity was reducing somehow. But then this kind of news is what will, send chills to everyone living in Anambra State right now, because the stories have it that, although unconfirmed, that this same man who was kidnapped since December 24th, while on his way back home along Oka Onisha Road, that the families had been paying compensations. In fact, they said that the abductors actually rendered them penniless. They kept making demands until once they discovered that the man was a legislator. So I do not know what that will mean for everybody who is a big person in the state. So it will now mean that they'll all begin to hide and not reveal their identities wherever they are. So it's a lot for the government right now, and as well as the security agencies.
All right, Chiwe Ogele, thank you so much for joining us. She joins us live from Abia State to give us the updates there. Thank you once again. Now, we're still staying with security matters. Police in Akwa Ibom have arrested a 13-year-old pupil, Samuel Sunday, for bringing a locally made pistol to school and threatening fellow students. Parading the suspect alongside his father, police spokesperson DSP Timfon John said the boy took the gun from his father's wardrobe in November 2024 before his arrest on January 30th. Meanwhile, 2 women were also arrested for child trafficking, selling a stolen child for 200,000 naira. In another case, police arrested suspects running a baby-selling syndicate and a 60-year-old man accused of defiling a 9-year-old girl. Now, the state's police commissioner has vowed to rid the state of crime, with all suspects set to face prosecution. Thanks for staying with us. Now, President Bola Tinubu has called on the Senate to approve an increase in the 2025 proposed budget from its initial 49.7 trillion naira to 54.2 trillion naira. This was via a letter sent to the Senate and read during plenary by the President of the Senate in Abuja. News Central's National Assembly correspondent Sagir Ibrahim brings us the details.
Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu has described the 2025 budget, dubbed the budget of restoration, as a reflection of the administration's priorities in advancing its developmental goals. With 4.91 trillion naira allocated to defense, the Minister of Defense says it underscores the President's commitment to national security.
Well, I believe the President has allocated enough resources for the security, to address the security situation in the country. That shows that the President is concerned about the security situation in the country and he's determined to end insecurity in this country.
Some lawmakers, however, reacted to the presentation of the 2025 appropriation bill by the President.
What concerns me as a parliamentarian is not the issue of statistics being churned in day in, day out. I need to see the reflection of these statistics on my people. I need to see the reduction in poverty. I need to see the serious reduction of hunger. As you go to my constituency tomorrow, the hunger that they witnessed in 2022 is double, is replicated in 2023, double in 2024. So where will that take us?
Some of the assumptions are very optimistic and may not be realizable. We pray that it goes the way he has projected. For example, aiming to hit 2 million barrels per day production of crude oil. As at now, I don't know what the officials are telling him, but I doubt very much if that represents the reality on ground.
We're too import dependent, so our naira is busy pursuing the dollar, and that's why the naira is going weaker and the dollar is getting stronger. And so that projection is to say the level of production that they envisage with that budget will help in bringing down the demand, because we'll be self-reliant, producing what we eat.
With the 2025 appropriation bill now submitted to the National Assembly, members of Parliament will begin to scrutinize the figures in order to facilitate its passage. They, however, urge heads of ministries, departments and agencies to cooperate with the National Assembly to ensure the bill is speedily passed. In Abuja from the Central, I am Joshua Imana.
Now, earlier on, Professor Ken Ife, a global economic consultant, shared his thoughts on the increase in the 2025 proposed budget.
There was a trigger, and then I suspect that as a result of that trigger, we started to search for a response. And then, of course, the major collectors came forward and said that they are actually overshooting the budget. So that brought comfort. When FIRS says they are coming up with an over budget of 1.4 trillion, and then the customs says, oh, we can do more, 1.2, we can also do more in collecting from state-owned enterprises, another 1.8. So that means there is a possibility of exceeding the estimated budget revenue by 4.5 trillion. So there is a possibility now to respond to the crisis that is triggered by Trump. Obviously, you know that the USAID has a lot of commitment to us. About $8 billion in 10 years, just over 700 million. And then, of course, commitments will also come from the World Health that they are withdrawing. America is the major funder for World Health. 47% of World Health Organization funded by America.
Now to security matters. Nigeria's House of Representatives has called for stricter enforcement of road safety measures and investigations into alleged telecom irregularities by telecom service providers. This was as lawmakers deliberated on several issues bordering on insecurity, road safety, and telecom regulations during plenary in Abuja. News Central's National Assembly correspondent reports.
The House of Representatives discussed extensively on the state of insecurity in the country. Lawmakers tasked the Nigerian police and other security agencies to collaborate with local vigilante groups in conducting extensive operations to clear forests nationwide of bandits and armed herdsmen.
Mr. Speaker, the House is worried that if full and productive actions are not deployed to ascertain, review, develop and strengthen comprehensive strategies to curbing this unprecedented wave of security crisis, then its scope will continue to widen, perhaps to areas where there has been relatively peaceful, wreaking havoc and hampering economic activities, thereby inflicting untold hardship and hunger on the citizens. And this does not portend well for the future of the nation. Parliament.
The House also directed the Federal Ministry of Works, the Federal Road Safety Corps, and other vehicle inspection authorities to enforce existing road safety regulations for trailers and petroleum tankers in a bid to improve the safety of road users.
Accidents are primarily caused by factors such as driver's fatigue, poor vehicle maintenance, inadequate training, poor road conditions. Not less than 127 major accidents involving trailers and petroleum tankers have occurred nationwide, with the Okolo junctions in Ilorin, Kwara State recording as much as 18.
The House of Representatives also resolved to investigate reports of the unauthorized and illegal linking of the national identification numbers of citizens without their consent by telecom service providers.
The recent reports of telecom service providers in Nigeria linking national identification numbers, NIN, to subscribers' lines without their consent, thereby exposing them to criminal activities. The action is a clear violation of the Nigeria Data Protection Act 2023 and the Nigeria Data Protection Regulation, NDPR 2019, which guarantee the right to privacy and protection of personal data of every Nigerian.
Lawmakers called on the Nigerian Communications Commission to launch a probe into the issue and take decisive actions against any telecom provider found guilty of the practice.
Now, the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons says that it is set to repatriate about 100,000 Nigerian refugees and resettle over 6 million internally displaced persons. This was made known in Abuja by the Federal Commissioner of the agency as he spoke to newsmen on Nigeria's ascension to chair the RABBIT process, a Euro-Africa dialogue comprising 57 member countries from 2025 to 2026. Now, he says that the opportunity provides the nation with enhanced diplomatic leverage that can facilitate stronger engagement on migration agreements, skills and knowledge exchange, and sustainable migration solutions.
The process is an initiative that brings together countries around the world to help manage migration effectively. It focuses on promoting safe migration, preventing irregular migration, addressing the impact of migration on nations, and protecting vulnerable populations. The Federal Commissioner of the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants, and Internally Displaced Persons believes that Nigeria has established itself as a leading voice on migration issues, marking a natural progression in its role on migration governance.
Nigeria's ascension to this role is a testament to the country's extensive efforts in migration governance. Nigerian priority areas as chair of the RABBIT process 2025-2026 includes youth and innovation, facilitating pathways for regular migration, improving migration data management, promoting human rights and dignity, climate-induced mobility.
With Nigeria's new role, the nation is expected to lead by example. The Federal Commissioner says that Nigeria is already stepping up efforts to repatriate 100,000 Nigerian refugees and resettle more than 6 million internally displaced persons.
We still have about 53,000 refugees in Cameroon, and we have about 25,000 in Niger. And we also have not less than 15,000 refugees in Chad. We have not less than 136 camps spread across this country, and that IDPs are living in. Some of them living there for not less than 5 to 6 to 10 years, feeding 6.1 million people on a daily basis. Is it realistic? Is it possible? The answer is no. So what do? Is to ensure that we exit them from the camp. And in this case, the National Commission for Refugees has begun in the construction of resettlement cities meant to accommodate those IDPs and refugees who may want to live off the camp.
The Rabat process is a Euro-African dialogue on migration and development involving 57 partner countries, the EU, ECOWAS, and international organizations. As chair from 2025 to 2026, Nigeria will set the strategic direction of the process, ensuring that migration policies align with the priorities of both African and European nations.
Now, in an effort to restore Borno's fragile environment, the Borno State Agency for the Great Green Wall is partnering with the Shehu of Borno to promote tree planting and climate action across the state. The initiative aims to tackle desertification, deforestation, and climate change, which have been exacerbated by years of insurgency and environmental degradation. News Central's Moru Kirawa completes the report.
The combined threat of deforestation and desert encroachment, which have been an issue in Nigeria's northern region, worsened in recent years due to the displacement and instability caused by insurgency in the northeast. To heal the land and secure a greener future for the people and animals, the Borno State Agency for the Great Green Wall is here at the instance of the Shehu of Borno, the traditional leader of the Kanem Borno Empire. The aim is said to strengthen ties with the traditional institution towards sensitizing and engaging the people for climate action.
Mitigating climate change is everyone's responsibility. Mitigating climate change, more especially in Borno State, without the blessing of His Royal Highness, the Eminence, Shehu of Borno, will not be completed. That is why we found it worthy that we should pay him a courtesy visit to seek for his guidance, prayers, and blessing for us to win the fight against climate change and desertification in Borno State. Not only Borno State, in the whole world.
The initiative, which aligns with Nigeria's national climate action goals, seeks to mitigate the effects of desertification.
All these local governments, they need it. The district head, they need it. The Blamas and Lawal, they need it. They will plant it in their houses, in their park, as it will help a lot to us in so many respects. So, and I want you to not to concentrate in one place.
Inshallah.
The Borno State Agency for the Great Green Wall revealed that thousands of trees will be planted across local government areas most affected by desertification.
We have so many strategies. One of them is massive afforestation. Two, providing substitute for foil firewood or charcoal, what we call briquette. And also we have to educate people.
While flagging off a statewide tree planting campaign, the Shehu of Borno called on the citizenry to actively participate in tree planting efforts, urging them to plant, nurture, and protect trees to ensure a greener and more resilient Borno State. In Maiduguri for News Central, Umori Kirawa.
Many thanks for staying with us in the news. Now, are you aware that the venom of the Turkish scorpion, Androctonus torquiensis, also known as the emperor scorpion, costs his eye as $10,000 per liter? Well, this was one of the attractions for Corporal Mahrazu Usman before he chose to resign from a promising career in the Nigerian Air Force to delve into the world of scorpions. Now, in this special report, News Central special correspondent on investigative journalism, Marshal Anthony Onoye, shares a look at the story of this single individual as he takes on the task to farm and harvest scorpion venoms. His report.
Meet Mahrazu Usman, a military personnel with the Nigerian Air Force. Mohammed joined the military service over a decade ago and have since been drafted to hotbeds such as in the northern part of Nigeria, where the war against insurgency is still raging on, and in other active capacities in the military. After several promotions, a few accolades, and victories just in the middle of his prime as a promising and decorated airman, Mohammed is leaving the force to pursue a different kind of passion some people might find as bizarre. The world of scorpions and their venom.
I'm Corporal Mohammed Usman Alpha, now 13-27-882, Nigeria Air Force. I was recruited into Nigeria Air Force in 2013. I've gone for several operations, Save Heaven, Arbin Kunama, Operation Mesa, and so on. I have a passion for the military and I have a passion for the land. The Nigeria Air Force is a big family, and it's a kind of, among the armed forces, Nigeria Air Force is part of the forces that they carry themselves along when it comes to the activity, the administrative activities and operations. And they're always conscious of their men. They take record of their men. And Nigeria Air Force is a system that is advisable. If anybody wants to come in, it's good.
Despite a successful career in the Nigerian Air Force, where he has served passionately, and several more years to go before retirement, Mohammed says it's time to shift his passion on scorpions. Scorpions, these small, often feared creatures, carry in their tails a venom used for defense and hunting. Scorpion venom is potentially the most expensive liquid on Earth, with prices soaring to millions of dollars for just 1 gallon. But what makes it so incredibly valuable?
From the business so far so good, I thank God. I've gained 1 or 2 things that I cannot gain in the service within the region 35 years. I have a property in my mother's side, I was Kogi. I have a property in my father's side, that is Niger. And those property are not gotten with loan.
We're here at the extraction lab where Mohammed has decided to pursue his passion into the world of scorpion venom and exploring its benefits in the pharmaceutical and medical world. These here are the emperor scorpions, and we're going to take a look at how he does the extractions.
This room, structured like a science laboratory, houses over 10,000 emperor scorpions and a few dead suckers, which are kept in transparent boxes. Each scorpion produces about 2 milligrams of venom daily, which is harvested or milked using a pair of tweezers and tongs before being transferred to the cooling unit where they are preserved.
Take care of them, we feed them, we nurse them. It's just like a cow. Once you extract milk from them, definitely you feed them and give them the necessary medication for them to be ready for next extraction.
The difference, though, is Mohammed is milking scorpions for their deadly venom, which is reported to fetch millions of dollars per liter when sold for use in cosmetics and medicines. An online report had said their venom is worth up to $10 million per liter. Extracting this venom is a meticulous and often hazardous task. Specialists must carefully milk the scorpions, a process that involves stimulating the scorpions to release their venom, which is then collected drop by drop. This labor-intensive method, combined with venom's scarcity, drives its high cost. Manusuru Alagba is Mohammed's partner.
I met Mohammed online when I'm searching for how to establish a scorpion farm. During our discussion, he gave me the assurance and the courage that I should go on with the scorpion farming, that it will help me to manage the farm and make it possible for us to do. I advise him to step down from the military work and face the business.
Though some of the claims made by cosmetic companies are unproven, potential medical uses of extracts from the venom are considered scientifically very exciting. While this is still an untapped industry, there is no doubt that with the high value placed on the venom of these creatures and rising demands from both cosmetic and pharmaceutical companies, many more facilities like this will soon spring up, with very ambitious individuals like Mohammed dropping off from existing professions to pick up this newfound passion. For News Central, Marshal Anthony Onaya.
Religious leaders in the Democratic Republic of Congo are calling for national dialogue amid escalating violence in the country's eastern region. The Catholic and Protestant churches have expressed their intention to engage with key political actors, including the M23 rebel group, in an effort to restore peace. A spokesperson for the Church of Christ in Congo, Eric Tsiga, emphasized the need for discussions to analyze the root causes of the crisis, propose solutions, and work toward national reconciliation. This appeal comes as M23 and allied Rwandan forces launch a new offensive, raising concerns about further instability in the conflict-hit region. And to stories outside Africa, U.S. President Donald Trump has signed an executive order banning transgender athletes from competing in women's sport, marking his latest move targeting gender non-conforming individuals since returning to office. During his campaign for his second term, Trump had vowed that there would be no men in women's sports. Since his inauguration, he has issued multiple executive orders, including a directive to ban transgender troops from the U.S. military and another restricting gender transition procedures for individuals under 19. His latest order on sports participation follows a bill passed in January by the Republican-led House of Representatives, which sought to limit transgender athletes from competing in girls' and women's sports. And to business now, residents of Abuja are facing fuel shortages due to the sudden closure of several Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited (NNPCL) retail outlets, attributed to logistical challenges and internal adjustments. Long queues have formed at remaining stations, causing significant delays for motorists and commuters. While some stations reported running out of fuel, others expect new supplies soon. The price of petrol remains at 965 naira per litre. NNPCL management has indicated that the situation is being addressed with an expectation of normalization in fuel availability by next week. And now to sports. Edo Queen striker Folashade Ijamilusi has completed a move to Chinese club Liaoning Baye FC, continuing her football journey after a standout season in the Nigerian Women's Football League, NWFL. Ijamilusi, who was the league's highest goal scorer last season, helped propel Edo Queens to a remarkable semi-final finish in their debut appearance at the CAF Women's Championship League. The prolific forward's impressive form in Nigeria earned her a high-profile transfer, as her ability to consistently find the back of the net caught the attention of international scouts. Ijamilusi's move to Liaoning Baye FC marks an exciting new chapter in her career, offering her the chance to compete at a higher level in China's top-tier women's football league. And now the Badminton Federation of Nigeria, BFN, has announced the appointment of Ekwe Blessing Chisalam as its new Chief Operating Officer, COO. A dedicated sports enthusiast and accomplished sports scientist, Ms. Blessing holds a master's degree in sports management and has a deep-rooted passion for sport. Her appointment comes at a pivotal time for Nigerian badminton, which has witnessed remarkable growth at the grassroots, national and international levels. Recognized as one of the fastest growing sports in the country, the Director General of the National Sports Commission, Honorable Bukola Olokbade, has stated that the BFN must not rest on its oars as loftier objectives lie ahead. Many thanks for watching. I'm Blessings Musugu.